quick dialogue. A lot of very clever dialogue that comes at you pretty quickly. And it's really good at focusing on... Like the other movies, there's two main characters that's focusing on, but it does a really good job establishing other characters to make you... to make you just basically... what do I want to say here? Kind of create a whole universe in a way.
In a sense of scale, way.
Yeah.
There's more than just two people being affected by what's happening here.
And it's done really well. I've always been a really big fan of this movie. Of course, I own it on Blu-ray. It's not a movie you need to have on Blu-ray, but, you know, it's Princess Bride.
Yeah, it's not like the Blu-ray is going to blow your mind over a DVD, but...
Sure. I think my favorite thing is that, again, it's a simple romance that they kind of, even though the seeds are already planted in the beginning, they actually just let it do its thing, which is really important. You know, you let them have their natural chemistry, and you kind of let the story play itself out, which I think is what the strength of all three of these movies, to be honest. So, there's not too much I can really say about Princess Bride. Like, if you haven't seen it, it's not. I know it's not a movie that like everyone's going to be in love with, because some people see it as just being a little too out there and too goofy, or you know, whatever. And I get that, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
I think it's perfect because it's like totally formulaic, but also like it takes left turns.
It does. Which is, again, what I love about it. But I think...
You know, because instead of him just defeating the people, he does this, you know, they have the full conversations and the respect, and they have little jokes. And then there's like, oh yeah, you know, he goes to the torture chamber, but the torture chamber does blah, 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 and takes time away from your life instead of just torturing you. Or,
yeah.
Hey, we'll have Christopher Guest play this character.
Again, brilliant casting.
And it's just like, oh, okay.
Some of the best casting, really.
It's a really great.
That's a big strength of all three movies, though. Great casting.
He's only mostly dead.
Yeah. Another perfect way to
and that thing too, because they're not wasting time. You're having a really good physical gag while they are talking about their plan to break into the castle and rescue the princess.
Plus, we all know how classic characters like Inigo Montoya became. How they said Andre the Giant was just perfect for the role, and even though we know his back was hurting him at the time, he was
pretty much done at this point.
Did a really good job with it.
Like, oh, I'm going to call the Goon Squad. I'm on the Goon Squad. Hey, you are the Goon Squad.
I also love, I got a fourth horse in case we found the lady. Oh, hello, lady.
You are the Brute Squad.
Of course, you know, the inconceivable line, my name is Inigo Montoya, as you wish. Everybody knows. Everybody can quote something from this movie. It's,
What about the ROUSs?
The rats of unusual size? The rodents of unusual size?
Don't believe in them.
And
I don't believe they exist. That fight is always longer. Every time I watch it, it's like it's longer than I remember it being.
It's one of the only, like, kind of low points of the movie. It's just like, he's fighting a giant rat and it goes on a little too long. Like, if I had to criticize something in this movie, that would probably be the one thing I would criticize.
Sure, why not?
Just trying to be fair. I could critique all three of them, but not gonna. We're just gonna roll with it. But, let me ask you a question, Dan. Of these three movies, what was your favorite?
Oh, we on to that already? We're picking winners?
All right. We can pick your winner if you want to.
Well, I mean, it seems like all pretty much the same thing, right?
I mean, I know what my winner is going to be, but I also knew what my winner was going into this, which is unfair in a way, but again, it was almost an unfair battle, but I can't.
My favorite of these three movies is The Princess Bride.
Mm-hmm. Again, I knew that was going to be my answer going into it. I didn't want to be super unfair about the situation, but it's one of those things where it's like...
Well, I hadn't seen two of the movies, so...
Yeah. Yeah, so it's almost like, all right, well, it's gonna be predictable when I say this, but one of these movies would have had to be like blow me out of the water to make me.
I enjoyed them, and I had a good time finally watching them. So,
oh yeah,
and that's one of my goals for the year is to watch movies I haven't seen.
Yes, and to have a good time watching them. So yeah, as far as these three movies go, when it comes to romantic comedies, I think they all hit the nail on the head. I think they did a fantastic job. They tell great stories. They're fun to rewatch. They have great actors. They have good pacing. They even have good soundtracks. So, what more could you possibly want from your rom-coms? For real. Like, they all have happy endings.
Even Humperdinck doesn't die.
Yeah. Well, you didn't need to.
He literally comes in and he's like, I'm going to fight you. And he's like, shut up, you cuck. And he's like, okay.
That's basically exactly how that goes down. For reals, though.
He's like, I can't even fight you right now because I'm still mostly dead. I'm still getting my faculties back. And he still is like, okay, I won't fight.
Okay. But yeah, let's celebrate three great movies. And if you guys were looking for something to do, romantic comedy wise, you know, set up that Valentine's Day fun. These are three good movies to watch. I mean, Groundhog Day, you don't have to watch on Groundhog Day. It's a good movie. You can watch it anytime.
Well, it's every day Groundhog Day anyway, so.
I don't need an excuse to ever watch Princess Bride again. And When Harry Met Sally was fun. I would definitely sit down and watch it again. So, I got no complaints about what we watched.
You know what else we got no complaints about?
What's that?
What we're going to watch next.
So, one of the... when I was coming through the big list of movies I wanted to do, the idea behind the podcast was three movies going up against each other. And the first episode we did was the Star Wars trilogy. And I came up with a lot of movie trilogies because movie trilogies can just be an easy way to compare and contrast because you're working with the same characters, the same running plot line, and you can have a lot of fun doing a compare and contrast with that. One of the suggestions I got from one of my friends, our actual community member, Chris Wright, said his favorite movie was Back to the Future Part 2. And I'm like, well, I know exactly what to pair those up with. So what we're going to review next time is the Back to the Future trilogy at the Cinematic Triple Threat. We're going to go back in time, and then forward in time, and then back in time again, and then back
even further.
And then Back to the Future, which will be the present, and then we're going to go really far back. And again, it's been a while since I've sat down and watched these movies, so it's going to be a fun time to relive what I consider to be one of the best movie trilogies of all time. Maybe some people would disagree with that.
Gotta go back, Morty. Gotta go back to the future,
back.
Morty.
Yes, and of
Morty.
course...
Morty.
And of course, as everybody knows, Back to the Future was a big inspiration for Rick and Morty, which
You don't say.
Dan and I are huge fans of.
Morty. You gotta drink this Pepsi free right up your ass, Morty.
Yeah. So that'll be next time, Cinematic Triple Threat. And of course, that episode will drop on February the 28th instead of the 30th, because there is no 30th in the month of February.
The 31st of February.
It will drop on February 31st. So never? Probably never.
Like that episode of Parks and Rec where she fucked up and thought March 31st.
Oh, when April books all of Ron's meetings on March 31st because she didn't think that date actually existed.
Yeah.
And then he had 93 meetings.
All same day.
Indeed. So yes, Groundhog Day, When Harry Met Sally, Princess Bride, the obvious winner for me was always going to be Princess Bride. But the other movies didn't get a fair stake. This was not a blowout victory by any means. But one of my all-time favorite films is going to be hard to... In fact, that's kind of what we should do, is we should pick out like 3 of our favorite films and make them go up against each other.
Damn, son.
Make it really difficult. I'm sure you could come up with like 3 of your all-time favorite movies and just be like, all right, let's do this.
Pretty sure they're probably already on the list somewhere.
Somewhere, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Cinematic Triple Threat. Now, please remember, if you want to hear more great content with our community, Club Kayfabe Creative Community on Facebook at CKCC Online, please subscribe to our Twitch channel. We're always dropping new content on there. Dan does a lot of streams. And that's where you can listen to our music shows, which do not go up in any other format other than Twitch because of copyright stuff.
Twitch Live.
You can check us out on Spotify and iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and iTunes. We're on all that good stuff. Filling the Void Podcast Network is how we got here, so I want to give a shout-out to Blake Riley for making sure we got hooked up with that. As for other shout-outs, I just want to say we do have a Patreon, and you can sort of make this podcast part of that if you want to offer up a donation. If you can't, you can always do a one-time donation to clubkayfabe@gmail.com via PayPal. And your one-time donation could get you on the podcast and get you to suggest some movies. You're always welcome to drop suggestions for free in the community. Of course, if you want to prioritize it and make it like the next episode, that's where the donations come in. But you're still welcome to drop as many suggestions as you want, and maybe we'll get to your favorite movie down the line. Till that time, we'll see you at the movies. Dan, I hope you have a wonderful Valentine's Day with your taco salad.
Yeah. Me and taco salad are in a serious relationship.
Ooh, there you go. See you guys next time at the Cinematic Triple Threat.